Hi, and welcome to the Go to Grow podcast for your fellow nature lovers at orchardsnearme.com. Every month we share a passion for living life outdoors. Whether it's easy mindful exercises or foraging for foods we love, we'll share all of our thoughts with you. We hope that you are inspired to create your own journey along the way, and if you like what you hear, feel free to share with friends and family. And don't forget to visit us at orchardsnearme.com for weekly travel inspiration. This week I'm going to discuss invasive plants and how we can help the continued effort to enhance native biodiversity. As a keen forager, it is safe to say that I love all things wild food related, including the invasive species that climb onto, grow on and invade our native landscapes. When people hear about my foraging adventures or join me for a trip outdoors, they are often worried if we are damaging the environment around us. I never claim to be an expert, but when it comes to wildlife, nobody is an expert. However, if you take time to learn about the environment around you, the plants that grow in different seasons, and the invasive plant species that are causing trouble, then foraging for wild food and learning about the landscapes is an ideal way to brush up on your knowledge and avoid damaging the environment. If you would like to forage for wild foods, go with somebody who knows their region. Bring the right equipment and enjoy spending time outdoors. I have been following fellow foragers and food enthusiasts for a long time now, and there are a few that have increased their focus on invasive plant species. So what are invasive plants? How can we identify them, and how can we use them in our everyday lives? Invasive plants are introduced to their surroundings by foreign means and usually spread generously around us. When they start to thrive, they often cause harm to native ecosystems. Depending on your location, you may be familiar with some non-native plant species. For instance, Japanese knotweed thrives in the woodlands and marshlands of Ireland. Here are just a few common invasive species that you can find. Firstly, zebra mussels. Zebra mussels can cause changes in water cycles and impact on the native mussels we love and the fish stocks. These guys originally come from Russia and the Ukraine. Many people won't eat these mussels as they pick up pollutants easily. However, so do all shellfish, so more research is needed here, and they are both used by chefs in some parts of the world. The next plant is sea buckthorn. This is one of the hardest to pick but sweetest to taste if you can manage the picking. We find lots of these berries spiking from their branches along the east coast shores of Ireland. They are full of antioxidants and vitamin C. Sparingly found along the shoreline of the UK, Ireland, Scotland and Wales. And these guys are considered invasive species, so pick away. The third plant is Japanese knotweed. It is highly likely that you've heard of or seen this invasive plant in the park nearby or even your neighbour's garden. It was first brought to Europe in the mid-19th century by a botanist. It has been shared between botanical gardens and garden lovers for decades before the problems related to it were detected. Japanese knotweed grows at an incredible rate and is capable of significantly damaging properties as it squeezes through the concrete. There are 3 methods that are commonly recommended for helping to prevent the spread of Japanese knotweed. You can either spray it with chemicals that will eventually damage the environment around the plant. You can choose to bury it so deep that the plant is prevented from growing up out of the ground again, or you can burn it. A lesser known method for getting rid of this disturbing plant is eating it. Yes, knotweed is edible and tastes similar to rhubarb. Maybe a little more sour in taste, but still delicious. Not all parts of the plant are edible. Eat the shoots in springtime before they get hard, and you can enjoy them in dessert dishes and experiment with the dishes you love. The next plant is chickweed. Chickweed is a commonly foraged plant here in Europe and is native to the region. It can be varied in appearance, but once you identify an area of it, you will see it appear in the same place every year. Its oval-shaped leaves grow in pairs and it is abundant in springtime. It is best eaten raw and fresh and it has a mild flavour. In America, this is considered an invasive species, so you are free to pick away. Instead of tackling it with pesticides, try picking some for your salads. The next invasive plant species is garlic mustard. This is considered an invasive herb in the US, and it can be found in forests and the edges of woodlands throughout the world. If you are based in the US or Canada, then please feel free to go on the ultimate picking spree with this tasty plant. It takes over woodland spaces and blocks the light and water resources from native species. It grows on roadsides, forest edges, and open forest floors. The young stems and leaves of this plant are delicious. They can be steamed with other vegetables to add garlic mustard flavour, or cut them up to add them to soups and salads. Garlic mustard pesto and hummus are great recipes. Treat your dinner guests to a special dip with garlic mustard hummus. The next plant is hairy bittercress. This is a popular member of the mustard family and well known by foragers around the world. Tiny white flowers develop at the tip of the stems. The leaves and seeds are popular additions to salads and stir-fry dishes, and it has a welcome peppery flavour. Bittercress likes open, disturbed spaces, and you will often find it popping up near the garden or along pathways. Like a lot of edible wild greens, the leaves from the hairy bittercress wilt quickly, so it is best to consume it fresh. And finally, purslane. Purslane is a sweet wild treat and comes into its own in the summer months. It contains fatty acids and vitamin E. It is known to help treat the digestive system and urinary issues. Purslane has thick purple stems. You will notice the small yellow flowers that sprout from the tip of the plant. It is considered an invasive species in North America and has been used in traditional dishes and salads since the 18th century. I bet that there are many invasive species in a forest near you. Now it is time to educate ourselves about the landscapes around us and our wild surroundings. This should benefit everyone in the future and allow us to make informed decisions about the environment. For more information about foraging in the wild, please contact us at info@orchardsnearme.com. Until next time, thank you.